All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to see you. I hope you all had a very restful and peaceful Christmas and New Year's. And I hope that you, like myself and Richard, are excited and energized and ready to get back into the swing of building our Cash FX businesses. I certainly am, and I've hit it with a vengeance again. And what we wanted to do for our first training of the year is just do a nice sort of relaxed, open feel to it. Not so much the formal sort of slides thing that we do every week. And I know Richard has got a lot of wisdom to bring us this morning. And there are many people here on the call who may not have been on these calls before and don't know who Richard is. Allow me just to give you a minute to introduce Richard. Richard is an incredible person. I've known Richard a long time, and his reputation was one of the reasons why I joined Cash FX, because I knew that he was a serious businessman. I knew that when Richard checks out a company and does his due diligence, Sherlock Holmes wouldn't do a better job. And that's why I was, willing to look at this business. And he's been very successful, not only in traditional business, but also in the sphere that we're in network marketing. He's been the top earner in companies before, built large networks across the world, and absolutely knows his craft, as we say here. In terms of his Cash FX journey, Richard is one of the superstars of the business. His journey has been nothing short of phenomenal. He started about 15 months ago, and like everyone else, started from scratch. Now has a team in excess of 50,000, I think, something like that.
75,000 now.
75,000, wow. And he's also a president in the company. And he did that in, I think, 13 months from a standing start. So we are in the presence of somebody who, if you're not listening to this guy, then you're not listening and you're not paying attention. So get a notepad and get a pen, because you're going to learn things today on this call and have wisdom imparted to you that is going to help you build your business. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand you over to our president, Richard Moore. Richard, over to you.
Thanks very much for that very kind introduction, Ray. So yes, beginning of the year, we had a great year in 2020. The business grew to over 140,000 members, but we haven't seen anything yet. 2021 is going to be an amazing year. But one of the things I just wanted to start the year off with, just a sort of, again, an overview of the due diligence on the project. I'm hearing, there are many businesses out there that are distracting people, and I want to get people to understand what makes CFX different from everything else out there. For those of you, again, that don't know me, I've been in network marketing 20 years. I'm a traditional business person as well. I often work as a company director on boards of companies. Up until recently, I was a director of a company called Deval, which is a pharmaceutical company. I invest in startup companies, and we also raise money for projects as well. So quite a diversified field, but network marketing is my passion. But I was out of the industry for 3 years simply because I couldn't find anything I liked. And the reason being is I apply the same due diligence principles on a project as I would if I was investing £250,000 into a startup company. So I take my time, I look at things carefully. And the thing about due diligence, there's no real sort of, it's not a black art or anything super clever. It's just simply just looking at the facts and making an informed decision, knowing that it doesn't matter how much due diligence you do, there's no such thing as a guarantee. This is the business, any form of business is the risk business. There's always a risk attached to business, but you can minimize that risk by doing your due diligence. And we've done a lot on this project, and it really stacks up. But now I don't normally do this. I don't normally talk about other companies, but recently there was a company called Mirror Trading International that was claiming that they were doing trading, and it was very easy to look at CFX and Mirror Trading International as similar, as a business, that you compare. If I asked you this question, if you look at the surface of a project, which would you say would be the better project? A project where you have to buy a pack, your money is then tied up in the company, you don't get any compounding, and when you withdraw your money, you receive a 20% fee on that. Or a business where you can put any amount of money in, you have access to your money 24/7, you can withdraw that money, there's no fees, and it's got compounding. Now, unfortunately, most people just look at that. They don't look at any further detail beyond that. And this is the thing that I want to cover today, is just helping you understand what you've got with CFX. And if you just look at the surface, you're going to see, a business. But if you look underneath the hood, and that's the important bit, you're going to see a business that is beyond anything that I've seen in the industry for 20 years. And if you talk to the leaders in the business that have also done their due diligence and are now experiencing firsthand what's happening with CFX, they'll tell you the same, that this business is genuinely really special. Now, a lot of people looked at CFX and Mirror Trading International, and on the basis of what I've just told you, went into Mirror Trading International. But they really should have done more due diligence on that project. That company has just gone down. They've run off with everyone's money. As I've been predicting for around 8 months since I was first shown the project, I could clearly see that if you look under the hood, it wasn't what they were saying it was. And so let's just look at some of the comparisons between that business and this business. As I said, I don't normally do this, but this is just to give you an idea of why it's so important to actually look under the hood of a business. Because once you've done that, once you know that you've got a real solid business here that should be around long term, then that will give you the foundation to go out there, the confidence to be able to go out there and recommend the business to other people. So Mirror Trading International was a South African-based company claiming that they were making trading. They were talking about their headquarters. They had a headquarters and everything else. And straight away, the first thing that I noticed, and which again amazes me that people don't think beyond this, the fact that the business was illegal. That company made no pretense anything other than the fact that they were selling an investment. And investment, if you're selling an investment without a license, that's illegal. And so they were basically, all over their website, it said investment, this, that, and the other. If you introduce someone, say someone came in with $1,000, basically you would then receive 10% of that money. So effectively you were getting paid for the money being invested into that project. That's illegal. Absolutely off the bat, that is 100% illegal. The company knew that it was illegal. So why were they carrying on like that? And that was the first major clue, first huge red flag, that what the company was doing is they knew they weren't going to be around very long. So they didn't care the fact that they were illegal. On the other side was the fact that you could put your money in and take it out at any time. And of course, that looks great, doesn't it, on paper? But that is, again, classic Ponzi, because what they're doing there is duping you into feeling secure. So what someone would do, they would join that business, they would put a bit of money into it, they withdraw it. Oh, look, no fees. Wow, that's exciting. I've got access to my money. So they put that money back in. They go and sell their pension. They go and put every single penny that they've got into that project. And then, they would see their money accruing. Now, again, the fact that they've got compounding was another huge red flag. If you have internal compounding, and I'm going to talk about this a bit later on, the difference between internal and external compounding, which we're about to get with the copy trading, is black and white different, because the reason that companies use compounding internally like that, where your money's with the company, is because what it does is it ties people's money up. Because if you understand compounding, every day your money is compounding. So if you withdraw your money, it becomes expensive to do so, because you're then going to miss out on the compounding for the following day. So what happens is, the psychology is very clever, and it's typical of Ponzi's in the way they work. So the psychology is this: you put your money into this, you know you can withdraw it at any time, but you don't want to, because of the fact you've got compounding. And because you've got compounding, no one's withdrawing their money, and that's exactly what happened there. So the company set it up very carefully. As I said, they were pitching, they had a headquarters. It was just a leased office, which is classic Ponzi fare. You know, they ran off with the money. They just left the offices because there was no investment there. But they were promoting it as you know, the fact that they were legit, and they were actually criticizing us for the 20% fee and things like that. But if you understand this business and understand the business model, that 20% fee is fabulous. The way it puts money into the plan and everything else, and people are still making a lot of money. But it's, again, that's another little thing showing the legitimacy of this business. But the fact is, that business played on people's, you know, they just look at the surface, they go in, and you know, the psychology was very clever. The way they said, you can take your money out at any time, and because of that, no one took their money out. So the company eventually got looked at by the authorities, which of course they were going to, because they were out and out illegal. And as soon as they did that, boom, they were gone with everyone's money. So what's different with CFX? Well, by the way, also it was shown that the trading wasn't real in that business as well. It was just made up. So number one, when you start going through the process of CFX, and you know, we've done a lot of due diligence on this project. John Kinnear, my enroller, who's now the marketing director, he went over and spent 3 days with Waskar. You know, so early on, we went through everything very carefully, and that's what brought me out of retirement into this business, because I could see that these guys were setting it up correctly and everything they were doing. So one of the first things we looked at was, you know, is the trading real? And of course, you know, all the indicators indicate that the trading was real. And that's something that we've seen over the last 18 months. The trading has been like clockwork. And, you know, we've had confirmation from the broker that the trading's real and everything else. So these were key things. That was the foundation when we first looked at the project, the fact the trading was real, the fact that we're in the Forex market as well. In fact, let me just share my screen actually, just to cover this, is again really important because the liquidity is in the market. So I was talking about specifically about Mirror Trading internationally there, but there are other businesses out there at the moment that are, you know, potentially distractions for people. And, you know, I'm seeing these businesses in arbitrage, crypto, crowdfunding, etc. You know, these businesses are not sustainable business models. And this is one of the most important things. You know, the first thing you look at is what is the sustainability of the business model. And that's where the Forex market comes in, because it's a $5.3 trillion a day market. So again, that was one of the first things we looked at. It's a recession-proof market as well, which of course right now is extremely important. But it's how the company trades that market, which is another key thing that we looked at. Because again, there are a lot of companies on the market that have live traders, for example. Live traders it's a very difficult market to trade live trading, particularly in the network marketing arena, because you've got to remember, in our industry, we're not talking about sophisticated investors. We're talking about people that have never done, you know, a lot of people have never done business before. They're coming into something for the first time. So, you know, if someone that invests as a living, they understand that you can have periods of losses and periods of wins. That doesn't work in a network marketing model. So you have to have a structure that works in that environment. And this is, again, where CFX have been very clever in how they've set this business up. Just scroll down to this page here. Because the way they've set it up is clever. We know a lot of high-end traders, for example, that make tremendous returns, but they have a drawdown of around 25%. And the idea being there is you actually lose more than you win, but the actual amount of money you make is more at the end of the day. And they're getting phenomenal returns, but there are periods of time where you have losses. And of course, as I said, in the network marketing arena, that wouldn't work. CFX has a drawdown as low as 3%. And the idea there is that they're very conservative in the way they're trading, and how they've set this up is very clever. So it means that they're winning more than they're losing. So at the end of the day, we're seeing those wins every day. But one of the key things is we don't just have live traders. If you have just live traders, there's a lot of pressure. The market's traded 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. And imagine the pressure on an individual once you've got a fund that is absolutely massive over the things. Ray, I think there's people waiting in. Can you let them in? Thank you, Eddie. And so imagine the pressure on an individual to keep performing and never making a mistake. That is really difficult for people to do. And so if I saw that, I wouldn't like it. I also see businesses that just have an expert advisor algorithm, or bot as they're often called, that is bought off the shelf. Again, a lot of companies do that. Yeah, again, you're going to see good returns initially, but over time, as the markets change, unless you can adapt the machine, you're going to end up in real trouble. So again, what does CFX do that is different to everything else out there? Well, basically, you've got the traders here. They're all highly experienced traders, but they're actually not doing the trading. It's the expert advisor system that's doing the trading. So what's their role? Their role is to look at what's going on in the marketplace. And it's down to then John Lowestoft here, at the bottom right here, who's the lead engineer on the project. He is constantly honing, tweaking, and adapting the system so that it is always optimized. It's never left alone. It's being looked at every single day to make sure that it's optimized. They're also upgrading it, for example, with the copy trading we're about to get. That is going to be the upgraded system. So again, we could see higher returns there as well, which is exciting. So 1 second. So basically what happens is we've got a machine, and the reason you want to use a machine is, as I've already mentioned, is that if you have live traders, there's a lot of pressure on live traders. Whereas a machine doesn't care whether it's trading $5 or $5 billion, it will trade exactly the same way. It doesn't sleep, it trades 24 hours a day, which in a 24-hour day market is an advantage, and it can also do high volume of trades. And this is one of the areas where the company is clever, because what they're doing to get the percentage returns that we're getting, instead of pushing the risk, which is often the way traders do that, they're keeping the risk low but increasing the volume of the trades. So a very, very, very clever system. John Kinnear is an expert trader. He doesn't trade, he hates trading, but he knows a lot about trading. One of his best friends is a world-class trader. And this is one of the things he saw when he went over and met the company, and blew him away how clever this setup is to ensure that we're getting these high percentages, every day, day in, day out, long term. And so again, when we saw this was something that, again, was another huge tick box for us when we were coming into the business. We looked at other aspects of the business, of course, as well in detail. The owners of the company, a very important part of this. Huáscar Lopez is a very, very serious business person. And this is, of course, since we've done our original due diligence when we first joined, we've had the privilege of being working with Huáscar almost on a daily basis. I'm in communication with him as a president, and mightily impressive as a business person. Again, his background, his father was a lawyer, his mother was a professor at a university. He himself was studying medicine before he switched to business, which is his passion. So a very clever individual. He's come from a very good stock. He cut his teeth in doing things like his businessman from day one. He had multiple sort of ventures. He was into travel, had a travel business, but he went into network marketing and built up massive business. It was over 200,000 people. So that was another tick box for us. We saw someone that actually also has a network marketing background, which is really important. I've been involved in businesses over the years where you've got successful people running the company, but they don't understand network marketing. And that's such an important aspect to this business. It looks the same on the surface, but it really isn't. So you really have to understand that. But Huáscar is also a very successful traditional business person. He has huge property holdings, huge land holdings in very key locations, manufacturing facilities with government contracts. He's also a very successful Bitcoin trader. He's got, I believe, over 10,000 Bitcoin. Think about that, 10,000 Bitcoin, and Bitcoin went up to $40,000. That's $400 million worth in just Bitcoin alone. He sold $90 million worth back in 2017, just before the crash. So this is a very, very successful, very wealthy guy. He's living the dream already. He's got a beautiful house in Florida, a beautiful house, or more like a mansion in Punta Cana, right on the ocean there. So he's a family man, he's got young children, that kind of thing. So when you look at that from a due diligence point of view, you're seeing someone that is visible, someone that is actively involved in the business, someone that has a lot to lose, you know, if someone's already made it, and, you know, family man, lives in the US, that kind of thing. These are all important little tick boxes that you look for in a due diligence process. Now, as I said, we've been working with Waskar closely over the last year or so, and you know, it's fascinating to see the way he thinks, how passionate he is about the business. I don't mind telling you that he gave me a right telling off the other day, because he told me something in confidence, and I told one of my leaders, and he told someone else, and that got back to Waskar, and he literally tore me a new page for half an hour. But as that was going on, I completely appreciated where he was coming from, because his passion is to protect the business and make sure it's around long term. Another thing we've seen is the fact that he's investing millions of dollars of his own money into the project, in everything from the new headquarters, the payment process of the academy program, the legal teams they've got on board, the partners they're working with, etc. The infrastructure they're putting in place, for example, the copy trading, is phenomenal, because again, making copy trading work for large numbers of people is not an easy process. You have to make sure you put the infrastructure in place to manage it. So you can imagine, the traders make a trade, the signal is sent out, it has to go to literally hundreds of thousands of members, and it has to arrive instantaneously. So you have to make sure there's no you know, bottlenecks or whatever, so the information is getting there instantaneously. So that kind of thing, that kind of investment is really important, and that's what these guys are doing. These are all significant tick boxes. I can guarantee you companies like Mirror Trading International invested virtually nothing in the business, because they weren't planning to be around long term. This company is planning to be around long term. Again, one of the other things that we've noted, for example, is the company's bringing the payment processor in-house. Why is that important? Well, again, it's important because imagine if you're going through a third-party company for something as vital as money in, money out. Imagine what would happen if that company went down. It would decimate the business, wouldn't it? So by bringing the payment processor in-house, the company is then protecting the company, again, to make sure it's protected long term. Other features of the business are things like, for example, the partners they've got working with them, you know, the conversion pros. Again, this was a big tick box for us when we first looked at the project, because these guys are world class. Ron Pope is a highly successful businessman. He ran a $1 billion mortgage company. He sold out, made an absolute fortune, retired, got bored, came back in, set up the Conversion Pros, and, you know, built it into a very successful company. It's in 60 countries around the world. They work with Fortune 500 companies. They're considered to be one of the best at what they do. And if you've been with CFX for a while, you'll see the back office and everything to do with the company is absolutely superb. Ron was telling me that they've got a team of 50 programmers working on the project at the moment full time. Again, think of the investment there that is being carried out by CFX to enable that to happen. Often in startup companies, and over the years I've been involved in startup companies, not only from a network marketing point of view, but also in a traditional business point of view, you know, the funds are usually tight in that kind of environment. So often you get cousin Vinny involved to do the back office. This is not the case with CFX. You know, they've got a world-class company behind them. You know, we've had 18 months of pretty well flawless, you know, business activities. Again, testament to the fact that the company's invested by bringing these guys on board. And the fact that Ron Pope, who has seen it all before, I mean, that's how Ron actually met Waskar. He used to, or still does, work as a consultant for companies, including network marketing companies, to help them turn their businesses around. Again, that's the caliber of the individual we're talking about here. He's seen it all before, and yet he's been so impressed with CFX, he's actually joined CFX. He's actually publicly promoting it. You will have seen videos online. So again, when we saw that, US-based businessman, lot to lose, seen it all before, can see everything going on with the business because he's the technology consultant. He is publicly recommending the company. And finally, by no means least, things like, the fact that the company is spending a fortune on their headquarters. This isn't a leased office. These guys are buying their own office. And that, again, is a key difference from pretty well everything else out there. It's very rare, actually, for any company to purchase their own office this early on in the process. Companies like Microsoft and Amazon, they started up in a garage. Then it went to a leased office. And of course, they've got beautiful offices now. But to have an office of this caliber at this stage is remarkable. They've got their own architect on the project. We've spent a fortune on the interior. I think it's going to be over $1 million they're spending on the interior of the building. This is a commitment at this stage. It shows you two things. One, that they absolutely have total confidence that they're going to be around long term, and they're prepared to commit to that by investing that kind of money into the project. As I said, other companies out there like Mirror Trading International often use a headquarters as a, look at us, we've got a headquarters, but it's just a leased operation. It doesn't mean anything. But when a company is actually buying their office, that's a key difference. And this is an office that state of the art. It's going to have the most advanced trading floor on the whole of the Southern Hemisphere. You'll be able to come down and visit the offices anytime. It's going to have an open door policy and watch the whole business firsthand. Of course, we're going to have videos as well, etc., because Panama can be quite far to get to for a lot of people. But either way, people are going to be able to go there. So when you start looking at all these little things, this is the thing about due diligence. As I said, it's not a a black and white science. You just look at the information that you're getting and can make an informed decision on whether you feel this company is serious or not. So those are key things. And the other thing to look at, of course, also, I'll just scroll up to the right page, is the maths on the plan. That's another area you look at. So I've already mentioned Mirror Trading International, that when you purchased or put money into that business, 100% was paid out from the actual investment. That is totally different from CFX. So why has CFX set this up? I mean, what we've got at the moment is sort of almost like a halfway house. It's the company is listed as a training company, and that is the business. We should be having this product right here now, but unfortunately it's been delayed for a combination of reasons. The initial product, when Waskar was developing it, or the team was developing it, he wasn't happy with it, so they scrapped it, so they relaunched it. They're spending a lot of money on the project, and they had live actors doing the training. But of course, with the virus, they then couldn't do that anymore. So they had to scrap that as well. So they've now completely converted it to cartoon format. And I understand this is now very close to completion. And this is a really important part of the business, because the company is a product-based business. The trading side is just a secondary side. It is just a referral side to the business. We don't get paid any commissions on that. So this has been set up properly. So you'll see, as we move into the copy trading era, the trading side is really going to be distance. As I said, people will come in, they'll buy the Academy pack, and then independently of you and CFX, they're setting up their own broker account with EverFX. Their money is traded by AWS. It's their money. They have complete control of it, etc. Complete separate. We're not receiving any commissions from that. It is nothing more than a referral. We are a product-based company, and that's so important from a legality point of view. So this whole setup has been set up in conjunction, in conference with the legal team they have, which again, a world-class legal team. They are or at least the lead person running that company, that firm, was the ex-litigation arm lead litigator for the SEC. So it doesn't get better than that. They know everything there is to know. And by the way, there are some of you will know that obviously we're not trading in certain countries like the US, and Cyprus and other countries around the world. And sometimes people look at that and go, well, that's bad. Okay, well, there's always two ways you can look at anything, and it's really not bad, because what does it show you? It shows you that if CFX was, a Ponzi or some company that was setting something up to be not around long term, they wouldn't care about whether they traded in those countries or not. Just like MTI, they just didn't care the fact that they were illegal. They just carried on trading because they knew at some stage they were going to get caught up by the authorities. and they were then just going to do a runner at that point, which is exactly what they did. CFX cares about the fact of the legality of the business and everything else. So, for example, countries like the US, again, the reason that we're not trading there is so that they can approach the US market properly. They pulled out, made sure that no one is trading there or profiting there or anything else from the business, so that once they've got all their ducks in a row, and for example, for the US market, they're going to need a new broker for the US market, which is not an easy task, by the way, to find a broker that you can have a proper setup with and everything else. Then you're going to have all the servers and everything else going to that broker. We need the product as well to show that we are a product-based business and not just a financial product business. So those things have to be put into place. But the plan is to put those things into place, then go back and relaunch in the US market. Same thing with countries like Cyprus, etc. That is the game plan. So the fact that they're not trading there shows categorically that the company is serious about making sure the company's safe, and they're going to go back into those countries properly with proper legal procedures in place, etc. So, when you look at this slide, by the way, this is one of the most important slides. Many of you will have probably seen me talk about this in the past, because one of the other things you look at when you're looking at any project is where's the money coming from. Over the years, because I've been successful in the industry over the years, often I get approached regarding projects before many other people do, and I can look into these projects, and one of the first things I look at is where's the money coming from. And for example, there's been companies out there over the years. One company was making its money from investing in startup companies and real estate. Well, guess what? That's what I do. And they were then paying out a fixed percentage return. I can't remember, I think it was around 20% a month, which is ridiculous. There's no way you can pay 20% a month on long-term investments like that. So again, I could easily see straight away that particular company was using new people to join as they join the business to pay the existing members. And usually all these things are on a screen, and you're making money on a computer screen. So it's not real money, it's just everything on a screen. So what makes CFX different in this area as well? When someone buys a pack, now let's say Fred buys the pack, he comes in, and no one else joins the business after Fred. So this is just Fred coming into the project. Okay, so he puts in his 1K. Yes, that is new money coming into the project. The 30% is taken here for the academy program. 100% of that is paid out. The 70% is then taken, that is traded, and the deal is he's going to receive 2 times his money back. So now, where's this money coming from? Well, it's coming from the Forex market. We know it's coming from the Forex market because the brokers confirmed that it's coming from the Forex market. And again, people must understand, if you have a regulated broker saying that a company is genuinely trading, then they're genuinely trading, because there's no way a regulated broker is going to say something that would be incorrect in that scenario. So basically, this money is coming from the $5.3 trillion a day market. So what does Fred do with that money? Well, he wants to upgrade, doesn't he? So he comes back in, takes some of his profits, and he comes back in and upgrades or buys, in this case, let's say he buys another 1K pack. That is new money coming in, but from that same person, that the money he's made from the Forex market. The 30% is taken, the 70% is taken here and traded, etc. And this process repeats and repeats. I'm on a 100K pack. So when my pack completes, it's $200,000. I come back in, I buy another 100K pack. That 30% is $30,000 going into the plan. $15,000 goes to John Kinnear, my enroller. And I'm doing this every month now. So he's receiving $15,000 fast start every single month, and another $15,000 going to the rewards plan, which is absolutely crazy money going into the plan. But this, again, it's another training on another day. But this rewards plan is by far the best rewards plan I've ever seen. Now, the company is about to move into the copy trading. We've got the initial beta testing going live at the moment. And in the next few months, everyone is going to be given the opportunity to have a copy traded account. And what's the key advantages of the copy traded account? Well, first and foremost is that you are keeping control of your money. The money is in your control 100%. So if you join CFX, you'll be buying an academy program, so you're still buying that. Got to have that. That's really important. The business is a product-based business. You're then completely independently setting up your own broker account with EverFX. This is a regulated account. It's as safe as a bank account. You're depositing your own funds into that account. The money is then traded by AWS. So what you will see is you'll see the trades as they happen. So that can't be faked. Again, so anyone looks at the CFX and says, oh, it's one of those things. Nope, can't be faked because you see the trades as they happen, and it's in a regulated, independent, third-party company account, so can't be faked. And that money is your money. You don't have to withdraw it because it's already withdrawn. It's already your money. It's already in a broker account. So just as an aside, imagine that as a product, to be able to offer people a world-class training program, enabling them to go out there and learn how to become a Forex trader to a very high standard, and at the same time, completely independently of the company, just go and set up their own broker account and have their money traded. And it's completely up to them whether they have it traded or not traded. It's completely independent of what we're doing here at CFX. No commissions are paid out on that. But they are making those returns and they are compounded. Now, key difference between an internal compound and an external compound. External compound is where your money's in your control. So by all means, you can just leave the money in because it's your money. You're not, the company doesn't have any control on that. Doesn't matter what happens to CFX, you are protected at all times. Doesn't matter what happens to EverFX, because there's a regulated broker account. If the company ever went down, you can claim your money back from the authorities, which is huge. There's no upfront or monthly fees, massive. There's going to be a success fee at the back end, but that's normal for any kind of copy traded account. But it's real money that people are going to be making, and imagine what it's going to do to the plan. Now, sometimes people sort of say to you, oh, well, what happens, to the rewards plan? Does that mean we're not going to make, any money anymore from this? No, no, no. Waskar's confirmed. He said, look, if you like the current plan, and we really, really like the current plan, you're going to absolutely love the new one. So we're going to get an upgrade to the plan. We're going to make even more money with the product that is a bit of a no-brainer for people. One of the questions people always have when they're looking at CFX, and this is why we have to go through a lot of this due diligence when we're showing the project, is, is it real? Is the trading real? You have to explain all of that. With copy trading, we won't have to do any of that. Because basically, where's your money? Your money's completely safe. It's in your control all the time. As I said, you don't even have to withdraw it. It's already withdrawn. It's in your broker account. So it doesn't get better than that. And again, this is another reason why I really want to emphasize to people that you need to focus on CFX. Don't be distracted by all this glitter out there. I estimate that in this current market, there must be, well, these are just numbers off the top of my head, but it's, we're talking 1 in 100 companies are legit, and not only just legit, because there are a lot of companies set up with the idea of being legit, but they're just not sustainable. People running the business are naive and they don't understand what they're doing, which is the total contrast to what we've got here with these guys in CFX. These guys really know what they're doing. And because they have both a successful traditional business background, but also a network marketing background, they really, have that, and they have the funds to invest also to make sure the project is right. So to have a business like this right now in this marketplace with these products is absolutely world class. And one other thing, by the way, just as a sort of almost a final point, is where's CFX making their money here? Because when someone purchases a trade pack, 100% of that money will be paid out to the field, I believe. We don't know the detail yet. The rest of the money is then kept in the person's control. So CFX has no access to that money either. So where are they making their money? CFX make their money from a success fee. As you're making trading profits, they're going to be taking a success fee off there. And so that's one of the powers of this, is the fact that the company is putting their money where their mouth is, and they're making their money from their actual trading activities. So they're not making money from money coming into the business in any way, shape, or form. And it's one of the reasons often people say to me, well, why does CFX need us if they're that clever? Well, it's good business, guys. I mean, Wascar set the business up as a way of helping people. And we're seeing that across the board. Every single CFX member is making money. People that are going to work, which is something I'll just talk about in a minute, are making life-changing money with this business. And so it is helping people across the board. But he's also a very shrewd businessman, as I've already pointed out to you. And he knows that, of course, this fund here, with the broker, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And if they're taking a little percentage from the trading, that's going to be big, big money for the company. So it's a win-win situation, and that's what you want. But again, they're putting their money where their mouth is by taking their profits from the trading itself. So when you understand all these key points with CFX, the maths of the plan adds up. This is completely sustainable. There will come a time, by the way, even with the market as big as it is, at some stage in the future, the company will make this a closed, a private business operation where only existing members will be allowed to trade. No one else will be allowed to join. But this model is totally sustainable in that kind of environment. In fact, people's incomes will just go up and up and up and up, which is one of the reasons why I sort of say you want to go to work really hard now, build a bigger business as you can, because when that happens, then what you'll see is your income continue to grow and grow as people are growing their own accounts as they're making money from the trading. And of course, with compounding, think about that. Again, those of you that are unfamiliar with compounding, it's where, for example, I'm on a 70K pack. Right now, we don't have compounding. Again, good thing, because it's an internal model. So that 70,000 that I have is traded, the same every single day. But with compounding, day one, 70,000, day two, 71,000, day three, 72,000, and so on. So it compounds and it gets bigger and bigger. That means people's incomes will grow. It's not going to be capped at 100K. It could be anything up to $1 million per account. So think about that. The sort of money you can make from $1 million account just as a passive member is absolutely phenomenal. So just to reiterate, if you sit down and do proper due diligence on the project, don't just look at the surface, look at all the underlying details. Every single aspect of this business points to a company that is being set up properly, is being run by people that really know what they're doing. They've got a proper game plan. They're making sure the business is going to be squeaky clean legally. They're going to make sure that we're offering world-class products to people, government accredited products. By the way, I mean, that again is another key thing. I mean, how many network marketing companies out there have government accreditation? Well, as far as I'm aware, that's none. So to have a company with government accreditation, again, when we're recommending this to people, is a big tick box. So this company, when you look at it across the board, is about as good as it can possibly get. I've been in the industry 20 years. I've never seen a business like this. I'm seeing people in my business that are making life-changing money. But one of the things I just want to finish off on, I'm going to be passing you over to Ray, because again, Ray is a very experienced business person, both in traditional business, very successful, but also in network marketing. He's been the top income earner of 3 businesses. So again, tremendous experience. And he just wants to share his own thoughts about this, making sure you're focusing on one project. One of the things, again, I want to just reiterate, this is a business. It's like any business. Now, everyone has the same opportunity. If you look at the top income earners or people making a lot of money in this business, they are incredibly diverse. Different age groups, different countries, different cultures, different personalities. Some of them are people that have had, well, many of them have had no experience of network marketing before. Some of them I wouldn't even describe as natural leaders, as good presenters, or anything else. So how come these people are becoming successful? It's because they're going to work. And that's the most important thing. This is why I wanted to emphasize this training today regarding this is the foundation. Once you know you've got a really good business, as a model that's going to be around long term,
Once you understand the rewards plan, again, I haven't really covered that here today. Maybe we'll do that again another time. But this is one of the best. Well, no, it's not one of. It is easily the best rewards plan I've ever seen. And we haven't seen. We've only just scratched the surface yet, because one of the features of the business is people are making more and more money here from the Forex market as their accounts grow. That's putting more and more money in here. So, you know, if you've got someone in your business on a $300 pack, you wait a few years from now, when they're on a much bigger pack or even a 100K pack, imagine the sort of money you're going to be making from there. So again, this is another key thing. People, because the fact that you can start for as little as $300, it's very easy to be distracted by something else when you've got an absolute gold mine there from just $300. So having that foundation, that understanding of what you've got the play plan, you've got a company that's set up properly, should be around long term. You've got the foundation to then invest your time to go and make money. And there are the thing about network marketing, this is what appealed to me from day one. I was in the corporate world when I joined my first network marketing business. I was a sales director in the City of London, making a serious amount of money. It was a very prestigious job. You know, had all the toys, company BMW, M3, all these kinds of things. But the fact is, it was linear income. So, you know, I was working hard, very hard, but, you know, every year I was having to start all over again. That's the difference with a business model like CFX. You can go out and work really hard for a year or so and change your financial future forever, where you don't have to work again. Key difference. That was why I went into the network marketing industry, because I love that concept of creating passive income streams. You know, every single week now from CFX, I'm getting paid very serious amounts of money without having to lift a finger. And that money is continuing to grow now. So you can build a business that doesn't stop. It continues to grow. And particularly, as I said, with the CFX business model. So my advice to you is this, is that you've been given probably the best network marketing opportunity I've seen in my 20 years in the industry. I think it is probably the best network marketing model there has ever been. And you've got all the tools and systems you need to be able to go and build a business. You've got videos, you've got presentations, you've got trainings, you've got absolutely everything. You've got a track record now of 18 months. Again, a key thing, you know, we've had 18 months, companies paid out over $200 million now. When we first started, we had no track record, no presentations, no training, we had nothing. We had to go out there and show people a business model that a lot of people didn't understand, because as I said, it's very easy. A lot of people just look at the surface and they don't actually look at the detail. So we had to show them the detail to get them to understand how special this business is. And if you talk to anyone that's been in the business for a while, they'll be happy with where they are, because they're making money every single week, which is really special. So that's my advice to you. You know, you've been given the opportunity, then go to work. And it is very easy to look at top income earners and go, wow, that's a long way away. And, you know, to fair, it's the same thing happens to all of us. When I first joined CFX, I looked at the top levels in the business and I thought, wow, that's going to be, you know, a long way away to get there. I didn't come in with a big team or anything like that. I started off ones and twos because I'd been out of the industry for a long time. But that's how you build the business. You focus on small little goals and you break the journey down, get to executive, then to manager. And once you get to executive, often you can find a couple of people that want to get to executive themselves. That gets you to manager and so on. So break the journey down. And we are going to be, next week, we're going to be talking about setting goals, really important, SMART goals. Ray's going to be talking about the follow-up on once you're following up on presentations, again, really important. And we've got plenty of other things coming up. We've got training on neuro-linguistic programming, how you can train your mindset. You know, if you think you can, you think you can't, you're probably right. Plenty of really, really good training sessions coming up to really help you build your business moving forward. And as I said, that's my advice to you. Understand what you've got and then go to work. It's all about work. That's it. If you're thinking you're going to make a lot of money without doing any work, unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. And I think that's sometimes why other people join other businesses, because they think that they can just come in, introduce a few people, get lucky, and sit back and watch the millions roll in. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to put in the effort. But as I'm trying to illustrate here, it is really, really worth the effort. You have a simple choice. work now, play later, or play now and work later for the rest of your life. So put in that effort. That's my advice. So let me pass you over to Ray. Again, just to reiterate, Ray, for those of you that don't know him, again, is a remarkable person. He is multi-talented. He's a fabulous musician. He's a guitar player, and he collects guitars. He's got this incredible collection of guitars. He is a very successful traditional businessman. He runs a huge, very successful software company. He's been very successful in network marketing as well. He's been the top income earner in 3 businesses over the years. He was a top income earner, or still is a top income earner in another business, and has never looked at anything else until CFX came along, and he realized how special it was and came on board. But to his credit, he didn't touch anyone in his current business. He hasn't shown anyone that business at all. He's just kept that completely separate, but he's focused on CFX 100% now alongside his traditional business activities. So he has, again, a unique perspective to share on the importance of looking at, working on one business only. So let me pass you over to Ray.
Hey, thanks for that, Richard. I really appreciate that. I hope you guys can hear me okay. And I completely and 100% concur with everything that Richard has shared with you this morning. We've heard this time and time again from Richard, where he's broken this down for us, and some people still don't quite understand the power of what they've got here. And it was good to reiterate that at the beginning of the year and have that presented back to us and say, look, this is what you've got. This is where you're at. So, bear with me a minute, just do that. I don't normally I have slides for everybody, but this morning I don't actually have any slides, because I just really wanted to talk briefly about where I'm at with the topic that Richard raised at the outset of the call, in as much as people looking at other businesses. Now, as Richard said, I've been in the industry now for 37 years, 38 years this year, and that's a long time to be in the industry, and you learn a lot of things over that time. When I started in the industry way back in the day, I was as green as they come, and I made a lot of mistakes, but I managed to get successful because I had a really good mentor, and I listened to the guy, and I learned a lot from him. And what I've learned over the years is that there are all sorts of different, as Richard said, all different sorts of personalities come into these businesses. And the thing that I've found most is that people don't often approach not just CashFX, but any of this type of business. They don't approach it with the correct mindset. And as Richard said, I'm fortunate enough to be the top income earner in another company, and I just want to touch briefly on. I'm not going to mention any names here, but I just want to touch briefly on that, in as much as that I joined that company 15 years ago, and at the time that I joined that company, we were the only company doing what that company does at that particular time. And within a year of that company starting up, another company started up, and they made all sorts of claims and promises, etc., etc. And I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of my team at that time were dazzled by the bright lights of it. They got bright, shiny object syndrome, and off they went to that other company. And I said, you don't need to do that. You've already got the best company right here for this particular product that we have. And they went, no, we'll go over here. And then another company started, and then another company got into the space, and then another company. And interestingly, what I can tell you is that I said to all those guys that went over and got dazzled by the lights, I looked at those companies, I did my due diligence on them. I said, they won't be here in 5 years. You might as well stay here and build a business. And sure enough, 15 years on, the business that I'm with over there is still here. and I'm very fortunate to be right at the top of it, and everyone in that company is in my team. All those other companies have gone. They've all disappeared. And, you know, I didn't want to go to those people and say, I told you so. But I did go to those people and said, I told you so. And what they did is they wasted a lot of time. They wasted an inordinate amount of time. And as soon as they moved their attention away from the business they were in, they diluted themselves. So, in other words, instead of devoting 100% of their available time to the business they were in, they were now devoting 50% of their time over here and 50% of their time over here. And I was having a really interesting conversation with somebody last night in my team, and she said something which was quite important. She said, you've got to have multiple streams of income. And I was about to jump in and say, that's a load of nonsense. And then she said something that stopped me in my tracks. She said, and the beauty of Cash FX is that we have one business that has multiple streams of income. And I just stepped back from that. I went, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And she's absolutely right. Cash FX, you don't need multiple streams of income. You don't need to look at another business, because Cash FX, you can earn income 7 different ways in Cash FX. All you've got to do is take action and get yourself into those 7 income streams. And as Richard said, you know, he's earning a lot of money out of Cash FX. I'm earning tens of thousands of dollars every month out of Cash FX. And like Richard, I started from scratch in this business. You know, I didn't go to my existing team over in my other business, which is huge, and bring them over here, because I don't want to dilute the income and I don't want to divert people's attention over there. You know, I don't want to give them bright, shiny object syndrome, because I've got that business. It's safe, it's stable. I'm here. So I started from scratch, and I started to go to work, and I started prospecting and calling people and talking to people. And here we are. And I've been in the business now 9 months. And my team is touching 2,500 people. But I've only personally introduced 12 people. That's all I've personally introduced, just 12 people. So the problem with most people, as I said at the top of where I was going, was that they don't come into this business with the correct attitude. The first thing I want to tell you is that a lot of people come into this business with what I call life raft mentality. What does that mean? Life raft mentality. And it feeds into why people keep going from business to business to business. A lot of people join a business and I've heard it said to me, they go, I hope I can make some money. Hope is a word you will never hear from a leader in a network marketing company. We don't live in hope. Leaders don't do that. We don't join a business and look at it and go, oh, well, I hope I make some money. We join a business and we go to work. And because we go to work, we know that we're going to make money. It's not a hope. It's not a wish. It's not a desire. It's a fact. We will make money. And I kind of cringe when I hear people go, I've joined and I've paid my $300 and I hope I make money. It's not the right attitude. And then what happens is, because they don't take action, the person that introduced them often is in the same mentality. So they go off and find something else. And then they tell this person, who plays follow the leader and gets bright, shiny object syndrome. And that's what happened, you know, with MTI and other companies that have recently gone down, is that people didn't do their due diligence. They didn't approach it like a business. They didn't say, okay, you know, is this business going to be around? Is it something I can leave to my children? You know, is it genuine? Are the people in the business, you know, squeaky clean? Is the business squeaky clean? Is it sustainable? Is there liquidity in the marketplace of the product we work with? All those questions. Very, very few people ask those questions. And so they don't understand what it is they have here in Cash FX. And because they have that life raft mentality, and life raft mentality means that they see Cash FX as a way to support themselves from the outset. Their income isn't great. So they go, oh, I'll join this business and then I can take money out of it and that will support me. That's not a business mentality. That's a survival mentality. You know, that's a survival mentality. And as we've trained before, what happens then is people just keep taking all the money out of their Cash FX business. They kill the golden goose. It's not the business's fault. It's not Cash FX's fault. It's their fault because they haven't understood what they've got and how to operate with it. The people that are making money and going through the packs the fastest in Cash FX are the people who are going, yeah, I'm not going to take the money out right now. I'm going to put that back in and grow my business and grow my business and grow my business. And those are the people that are building not only their teams, but they're certainly their residual income in this business. And the people who don't have life raft mentality, who don't go, oh, I need every dollar I can get out of it just so I can eat today, which is life raft mentality, they're the people building the businesses, not the people with life raft mentality. And what having that mentality leads to is people being what I call butterflies. In other words, they flip from one business to another, one business to another, one business to another. And I've actually got a friend of mine who's no longer with us, and I knew him for 17 years. His name was Tony, and he was a lovely guy, very lovely guy. And he was the biggest butterfly I'd ever known. He would join a business. He'd probably give it 2 or 3 weeks, and then something else would catch his attention. And then he'd go and join that. And then 3 or 4 weeks later, something else would catch his attention. And he was always pitching me, oh, I've just found this. I've just found this. And over the 17 years I knew him, he never once listened to me when I said, I'm never going to join another business. I've already got one. Thanks very much. Because I don't want to dilute my time, my focus, and my energy away from that. And a couple of years before he sadly passed away, I had a beer with him because he didn't live too far from me. And I said to him, Tony, how much money do you think you've actually put in to all these businesses over the years, you know, joining fees and all that? And he looked at me and he said, I don't know. And we sort of did a quick napkin calculation, and we calculated it must have been in excess of £26,000 that he put into these businesses over the years, and he hadn't got a penny out of them. And I said to him, it's because you're a butterfly, Tony. You flip from one thing, and you never stick at anything long enough to be successful at it. And he said, well, why do you call me a butterfly? I said, well, it's simple. Because butterflies, they flip from one thing to another, one thing to another, one thing to another, but they only live for a day, Tony. They only live for a day. Whereas dragonflies, they generally find a leaf and they sit on it and defend it to the death. Dragonflies live for 6 or 7 years, particularly the females. So don't be a butterfly. Don't flip from one thing to another. Stick with what you've got, because I'm here to tell you, and I don't care if you don't like me for this, I'm here to tell you, CFX, and I'm basing this on my 37 years of being in this business. You know, it took me 15 years to look at another business. 15 years. And because I'm a successful network marketer, whenever something new comes out, whenever, you know, the next greatest thing comes out, everyone comes and pitches me. The world, his wife, his dog, and his duck come to my door because they go, oh, I know Ray. He's a decent networker. I'll go and get him in and he'll bring all his team over and I'll be made. It's never going to happen. If you go chasing those big networkers, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to spend a lot of time getting nowhere. Because think about it from the point of view of the big network you're chasing. They've spent 2 or 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is, focused on that business that they've built. They're not just going to up sticks and go, because if the minute they do that, it sends a terrible, terrible message to the team that they've got. It sends an absolutely terrible message to the team that they've got. So you know, that's why when I joined Cash FX, I didn't tell anyone in my other business, because it would send a terrible message about how I feel about that business. And also it would dilute them and it would distract them and it would destroy the income. And that's the reason why people like me don't jump ship. We're not butterflies. We stick at it because we've got a business. We're making it work. We're going out to earn the money. So that's why we're not butterflies. And that's why, you know, it always makes me laugh you know, I introduce people into a business and they go, oh, I'm going to go and chase that person over there because he's a big networker. I go, well, what you're going to do is waste 6 months of your time and get nowhere because they're going to say no. And I'm inevitably proved right. So you know, I'm not saying you can't go after them, but I'm saying that if you do go after those people, your chances of success are very slim, and you're going to spend a lot of time doing it because they're going to take their time about it because they don't need the money. That's a fact. So whereas if you go after ordinary folks, you know, who are middle income, looking to expand their income, looking to change their job because they don't like it, you know, what I call the 95% of society, you know, mortgage, cars, 2.5 kids, and who are already in the network marketing business. Those are the target market. Those are the people you want to go and talk to, because they're more likely to come to your business. But butterflies don't live more than a day. And I'm here to tell you that if you're a butterfly and you're flitting from one business to another, you probably might not succeed. I'm putting that out there because you're not focused enough. Okay. When I joined CashFX, I look back on it now and I'm kind of like crazy. There was a 2-month period there right at the beginning of my CashFX business where I was just on adrenaline. I was on adrenaline about CashFX because I knew what I'd got. I understood fully the power of what I had. You know, thanks in part to Richard's good offices because I knew Richard very well, and Richard worked with me closely in the beginning. God bless him. And I knew that I had to get going and get going quickly. And actually, what I did is I went to my business partner in my software company. I said, Barry, you're not going to see me for 2 months. And he said, why, what are you doing? I said, I've just joined a network marketing company. And he was a bit surprised because he knows me and he knows that I've been in the other business for 15 years. He was a bit shocked. He said, well, if you've joined something, it must be good. And Barry joined. He's one of the first people I signed up. And I said, I'm clearing the decks you're not going to see me for 2 months. Just crack on with the business. And he accepted that. And for 2 months, I gave it 2 months solid. Every day I was on this business. I introduced 10 people in my first 10 days. Okay. And then I started to work with those people and work with those people and work with those people and work with their teams. And all the time, I'm here to tell you, all the time, people would say to me, come and approach me and go, oh, this is the best thing that's since sliced bread. Oh, this is better than CashFX. Oh, look at this. This is great. Oh, look at that. Didn't pay attention to any of it. People in my team will tell you that, you know, they send me things they've been pitched and they go, what do you think about this? And I go, I don't have any opinion on it because I'm not interested. I am not interested. I have a business. I have the best business because I've done my due diligence, as Richard has. Okay. And so I am completely and utterly focused on this business. Okay. And they are going to be selling cornettos and vanilla ice cream in hell before I ever look at something else, because I've got one business over there. Okay. That's a great business. I'm happy with that. I've got CashFX. I don't need any more businesses. I have one. And I did what I needed to do and I went out and made it work. And there are people in my team who have done exactly the same thing. I've got people in my team who've got, you know, 1,000 people in their team, got 500, 400, 200, 300 people, you know, and some of them have done it in a slightly faster time than I have. What makes these people different to other people is that they're focused. If you take nothing else away from this business, from this call today, it's that you need to be focused. And if you are properly focused on CashFX, you will not entertain the next greatest thing that comes along. You just won't, because you will understand the power of what you've got, what you need to do to make this a successful business for yourself. And you will do that to the detriment of all others. It is a little bit like a marriage. I'm kind of married to CFX right now. Okay. And I will be for the foreseeable future. You know, even when I'm earning as much as Richard, I will still be married to CFX as Richard is. We don't need another business. We simply don't need any more businesses because we have what we consider to be the best business out there. And I'm going to round out with this. One of the reasons that people with life raft mentality keep flitting from business to business is because of fear. Okay. And it boils back to this word hope. Hope translates as fear. You may not understand that, but it does. When people have a fear of something, particularly not making money, they hope that they can make money. They just do. When people have no fear that they're going to make money, in other words, they know they're going to make money, they don't need hope. So it's a converse relationship. And most people live in fear that they won't have enough money this week to pay for their bills or their mortgage or whatever it is. And so their best friend tells them about this new shiny business. Oh, you can make a load of money. It's only this much money and it's only this much a month. You can make a load of money. And so they go, oh, because I need to make money quickly, I'm going to put my $100 or whatever it is into that thing. And it doesn't work out because they're not focused enough. They're not focused enough. Focus is the one thing that will get you where you need to be. Not just in CashFX, in any business, whether it's a terrestrial business on the ground like I have with my software company. I gave that 5 years of focus, 5 years of my life, solid, going into my office every day, spending 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day in that office, working with my team, developing the code, building the software, testing it, bringing new customers. 5 years of focus. I now have a multi-million pound business every year because I gave it 5 years of focus. And it will be the same here. I will give this business years of my life and focus, and I will end up with another business that pays me millions and millions of pounds a year. Same for Richard, same for anyone in this business who gives it focus. So I'm not thinking about CashFX as I'm going to give it my attention for this week and next week and the week after. No. I'm thinking about, I'm going to give CashFX my 100% focus for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and going forward, because I know that I'm going to be in this business then, and I know that I'm going to be making a lot of money with this business. So I don't need any other company. So you don't need to be a butterfly. Yes, these businesses will arrive. And to be fair, a lot of them will look at CashFX and wish they could copy us. Some have tried and some have failed. Pretty much all of them have failed. Okay. And tomorrow there'll be a new thing. And the day after that, there'll be a new thing. And the day after that, there'll be a new thing. And everyone will get excited about it, and all the people will go and chase that silver lining. But the people who don't, the people like myself and Richard and all the other leaders in this business, we will not follow you. We will not go there. We will still be here making money. And when that business has gone and failed and screwed you, we will still be here making money because we have an amazing business. I can't tell you how excited I am, how privileged I am to be part of CashFX. I get up every day and I pinch myself that my sponsor, James, had the good grace to ring me up one day and say, hey, have a look at this. And as many of you know, I'd seen CashFX before and I rejected it because of the principles that I'm talking about now. I rejected it. And only when two people who I really trust and respect, one of them was James, my sponsor, massive networker for 20 years in Spain. He was the #1 distributor in Spain for a company. And then Richard came along. James said to me, would you like to have a call with Richard? I said, Richard who? He said, Richard Maud. I went, hold the phone. I know Richard. So now I had two people who I trust and respect, and I know their credentials. And I thought, and this will hopefully make you smile. When I was going into that call with Richard and James to be brought into CashFX, or I was going into that call with you ain't never going to get me into this. Okay. Because my mentality was that either James and Richard were incredibly stupid or I was missing something. So it was either they were being incredibly stupid and I was going to convince them that they were being incredibly stupid, or I was missing something. Now, I went into that call heavily reliant on their being stupid, tack. And I thought I was going to come out of that call with the victory, with the win, and prove that they were being stupid. I came out of that call with the understanding that I'd completely missed something, because I was shown it properly. And when I came out of that call, I actually just put, Richard doesn't know this, I put the phone down on Richard, and I sat at my desk and I went, bloody hell. It just, my mind was on fire with what I'd been shown. And I signed up immediately. I got back to James, I said, let's get going. That's it. I went in it and I focused. I wasn't a butterfly. I didn't have life raft mentality. I didn't treat this as if, this was going to pay my bills next week. I didn't do that. And I now have a business that's growing, 150, 170 people a week now, organically. It's paying me tens of thousands and thousands of dollars every month. And I know that I'm going to be working with Richard for the next 3 to 5 years. And that's why you don't need to be a butterfly. And if you take nothing else away from today's meeting, you need to impart this knowledge to your team and stop them looking at these other businesses and focus their attention. That's part of being a leader. Part of being a leader is you have your own focus, but you have to be able to show other people how to focus and build the dream properly, I often say the distance between dreams and reality is action. That's all it is. If you take action, doesn't matter what you do in life, if you take action, you will succeed at that thing. Whereas if you just keep running off to the next thing, you're just going to be a wishy-washy nothing in 5 years. You'll be in exactly the same place, except you'll be poorer. That's all there is to it. So that's all I have for you today. I thank you very, very much for your time. I'm going to hand you back to Richard, who's going to close out the meeting. So let's just take 2021 by storm. I would love to look back at this conversation a year from now and know that there's probably 100, 200 more presidents in the company, of which I'm going to be one. Not hope, I am. Richard, over back to you.
Thanks very much, Ray. So I hope that gave you a good understanding, guys, because it is so important to know what you've got with the business. Once you know you've got that, the foundation, then go to work. And we're going to be doing a lot more trainings in the coming weeks on helping you get the right mindset, giving you the tools and everything you need to go out there and build the business. And just as a final thing, one thing I will say, again, just the bottom line is it gets down to just activity, activity, activity. People always think that, when you see someone that's successful, that they just turned up and everything was rosy in the garden and, everyone they spoke to said yes, and it was just a walk in the park. No, it doesn't work like that. Everyone has the same setbacks. Everyone has the same people saying no, everything else. Our business is just a business of just, of inviting. That's what we are. We're inviters. We invite people to the business, but it's that activity that makes the difference. It doesn't matter who you are, what your background is, how capable you are. As I said, I've got people in my business that I consider to be not particularly capable in many ways. They don't have particular natural skill sets, and yet they're successful. And it's because of the fact that they are persistent. Activity, activity, activity. So that's the key. So hopefully you've all found this useful just overview. Gives you the confidence to know you're in the right place at the right time. 2021 is going to be an amazing year, guys. Think about this. We're going to be getting copy trading in full. We're going to be getting the academy program in full. You're going to see the business will be getting back to what it should be, a product-based business. With the trading side is just a referral side. So we're going to have a world-class product to be able to show people. Should have had it by now, but things in the world make challenges like the virus, etc., unforeseen. But the company's been investing a lot of money in this product to make sure it's world-class. Going to be government accredited, so again, it doesn't get better than that. We're going to have a $2.2 million headquarters. We're going to be able to show people payment processor in-house. Companies even developing their own Bitcoin wallet. So in combination with the bank, so people will be able to register, put their money into the bank, set up the bank account with that bank, and then buy Bitcoin, etc. So again, very exciting developments moving forwards, but world-class product with a world-class rewards plan that if you go to work will change your financial future. Fact, if you talk to anyone, we've got wonderful leaders in the business that have never done this before, that just can't believe what's happened to their lives since they've been with CFX and put in the effort. So you are most certainly in the right place, right time. 2021 is going to be an amazing year for the business. So make sure you position yourself, work with your upline, and then just basically go to work. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope you found that helpful. Have a great weekend, and we're looking forward to seeing you next Saturday. All right, take care. Bye.